Diversity is the accounting and mindfulness of our commonalities and differences. Often, organizations have focused on one aspect or the other. Differences are easy to see. Communication styles, social backgrounds, gender, and race are often the aspects where we draw lines of difference. The Equal Opportunity Employment Commission, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and Title IX. Gender equality in education are all attempts to heal the systemic harms caused by the false inferiority and undervalued gifts that differences offer. Yet, when we look at the core motivations of human beings, we can recognize we're all seeking safety, significance, and belonging. The human experience provides for us many similar challenges and experiences that require universal responses. We need safe spaces to develop. We long to love and be loved. Fear and desire community where our talents can be utilized. Our methods may be very different. The words we use to express our core values may have contextual meaning, and many of the desires we seek may look different. It's these human commonalities that allow us to look past our superficial differences and unite around our common goals. Yes, working with differences comes at a cost. It's not easy and requires attention and work. This is the call of leaders and servant leadership. Diversity is the accounting of and recognition of our commonalities and differences. We express and attempt to reach our common goal in different ways. We can discuss methods when they differ when we remind ourselves and the people we work with that we share many of the same values. Here are 3 things to remember. We're more alike than we are different. We have common goals and we express them differently. We can build strength by recognizing and accepting our differences. Here are 3 things to do. Acknowledge visible and invisible differences and commonalities, for example, learning styles, personality preferences, cultural backgrounds. Require team members to regularly change roles, responsibilities, and work with people they don't work with often. And 3, encourage team members to continue to build relationships outside of the working sessions. Equity is about how we treat people. A word picture that is often used when explaining equity and its counterpart equality is that equality is making sure that everyone has shoes, while equity is making sure people have shoes that fit. Now let's take this one step further and ask, why do we want shoes that fit people? Political correctness has done most of us an intellectual disservice by socially mandating what can and cannot be thought or spoken. We would be better served by asking the question and demanding answers to this question. Why would I want to call them? Or how does that behavior help the situation? We know that human potential most often rises and falls to the levels of expectation of leaders, parents, teachers, or police officers. Equity is about how we create space for the maximization of human development by removing or augmenting barriers that only get in the way of that development. Bureaucracies are systems designed to benefit those who create them, even at the detriment of those who use the systems. Equality is about fairness, but we only have to turn to our early upbringing to see the fallacy of that mindset. Life is not fair is often the anthem of parenting. Equity is unfair. It's about learning what works, what motivates, and how we eliminate barriers that limit human potential. As leaders, we must be critical and systematic to find the methods, resources, and approaches that bring out the best of our groups as we seek to build competence and character. So, here are 3 things to remember. Equality focuses on fairness of opportunity. Equity focuses on quality of outcome. Equity may look like different treatment. So, here are 3 things to do. Define your goal or desired outcomes for diversity and equity. Think about the many paths to that goal or outcome given your group's diversity, and remove barriers or procedures that keep them safe, builds character, but may limit the group's ability to reach the goals. Inclusion is about removing barriers to participation. As leaders, we must create space where process, attitude, and behaviors don't aid in the reaching of our goals are questioned. Physical barriers to participation like how, where, and at what time we meet need to be taken into account, especially for those with special needs or transportation issues. Inclusion is not about lowering the bar. It's about asking the purpose of the bar and augmenting that bar if it in fact helps us reach our predetermined outcome. Here are 3 things to think about. We all have challenges we face. They may feel or look different. Inclusion is about created space for us all to work together towards a goal. Inclusion is not about lowering the bar, but changing ineffective or unnecessary bars. So here are 3 things to do. Weigh current policies and practices against the needs of the group, legal boundaries, and tradition. Be responsive to information that could help the group develop character and reach outcomes. Be flexible and responsive to the needs of the group in ways that will produce the desired outcomes and builds character. Leadership is the act of moving ideas or groups toward a set of goals. The leader is the person who drives that process either from a position of authority or a position of influence. The servant leader is a style of leader where the leader uses his, her, or their knowledge, skills, abilities, and resources for the betterment of the group and seeks no glory or praise for themselves. Servant leadership often comes at great personal and professional costs. Can you think of some servant leaders and the price they paid? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Mother Teresa, or Malala Yousafzai, just to name a few. And for those of you who don't know who Malala Yousafzai is, she's a Pakistani activist and the youngest ever Nobel Prize laureate. Yousafzai was injured on October 9, 2012 by a Taliban gunman when he attempted to murder her for going to school. No man is an island, the old adage states. Humanity is a relational act. Can you imagine what would happen to a fruit tree if the juices of that tree were exclusively fed back to that tree? How healthy would that tree be? Well, not healthy at all. And that's because the juice of the tree is designed to be consumed by others. So it is with our leadership time and talent. Why is it that the World War II veterans are called the greatest generation? Because of the great service they gave. So yes, Dr. King was correct. Everyone can be great because everyone can serve. Leadership is the act of moving ideas or groups toward a set of goals. Leadership is about service and the recognition that moving people toward common goals can be challenging, but the rewards of goal accomplishment, individual engagement, and team development can outweigh those challenges. Here are 3 things to think about. Leadership is more than a position. It's about how to create collective action. Leaders must understand the roles of followers by having been a follower. Leadership is a balance of the goals and the people. It's about service to both. So here are 3 things to do. As a leader, one must be mindful of the goals and outcomes. Engage, enlist, encourage the group in the building of strategies, approaches, and action plans towards the goal. Hold the group accountable for the achievement or failure to accomplish the goals.